What's going on, you guys? This is Cooked Vegetables back in here with another podcast. How is everybody doing, man? I hope you're doing absolutely wonderful wherever you happen to be in the world. The title of today's podcast is going to be Experiencing the Bliss of Celibacy Makes Romantic Relationships Less Appealing. Before I found the practice of semen retention, I was never really single. I either had a girlfriend or was involved in a friends with benefits situation with a woman. In those years, I had become so addicted to sex as I felt the constant urge to have a woman around at all times. It is with a great deal of remorse that I confess that the purpose of my interactions with many of the women in my past was to use them as masturbatory objects to satisfy animalistic lust under the guise of a romantic relationship. As experienced retainers know, lustful relationships often end in disaster, and mine were no exception. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why each relationship started so wonderfully, but ended so horribly. Now in retrospect, I can clearly see that those relationships were really doomed from the start. Even in spite of all the emotional pain I endured due to failed relationship after failed relationship, I just kept going from one to another without giving myself any time to reflect or heal. I guess my sexual addiction was so strong that healing and self-reflection took a backseat to my lustful relationship fix. I continued on my lustful life path until fate forced me to stop and look within. At first, I hated it and tried to rebel. I signed up for dating apps and went on way more pointless dates than I care to recount here in an attempt to keep the lust train going. I kept looking for the next woman who would make everything perfect again, but that never happened. I think the Almighty Father had had enough of my shenanigans and was in effect telling me, "No, my son Cooked. I am not going to let you take the easy way out. You need to figure this out for real this time." After years of intense angst and frustration with what I perceived as the unfairness of my circumstances at the time, I finally let go. I decided I was going to go within and deprioritize relationships for a while. Heck, nothing was working in that department anyways, so it wasn't like I was losing anything. This was the lowest point in my life in terms of confidence, health, money, and general self-esteem. Ironically, being at this low point helped me find and adopt the practice of semen retention. As I committed myself to the sacred practice of semen retention month after month, the world started to smile on me again. I gained my confidence back. I gained my wealth back and even surpassed my prior earning potential. My health started to get better. I felt my self-esteem gradually building with each passing day. I started to feel little pockets of bliss at certain random periods of time while doing mundane things like sitting at the park, eating lunch. As I maintained my purity over time, these feelings of bliss started to happen more frequently to my absolute delight. As I have maintained celibacy over time and enjoyed the blissful feelings and rewards that arise as a result, the prospect of a romantic relationship has lost a vast majority of its appeal to me. I was confronted by this fact a week ago when my cousin reached out to me with the contact information of a woman she thought would be a good match for me. This woman was bright, well-educated, came from a good family, great looking, and had apparently shown an interest in me. She seemed to have most of the good qualities that a self-respecting man would seek in a wife, but for some reason, I just couldn't bring myself to care. My cousin sent me this woman's number and asked me to text her. Brothers, I had absolutely and still have absolutely no desire to do this, and I think it is because I don't want to risk the bliss I have come to know as a retainer. This is in stark contrast to the Kuma brother cooked who have absolutely jumped at the chance for another sexual conquest with a beautiful woman under the guise of romantic love. In conclusion, I am somewhat embarrassed to say that I didn't genuinely like most of the women I was romantically involved with in my past. I regretfully used these women as masturbatory objects to satisfy animalistic lust, and would actually like to apologize to those women for my past ignorant indiscretions. Had I known the bliss of the celibate back then like I do now, I would have been much, much more reluctant to engage with women just for the sake of pleasure. I mean, why would you trade good health, more wealth, sharper intellect, respect, influence, true spiritual power, and most important of all, an intimate relationship with the Most High Heavenly Father Himself for a few quick thrills? Makes absolutely no sense, I know. But for the purpose of rearing children in the righteous way, romantic relationships don't serve much purpose to sons of God who have arisen from the slumber of the matrix. Till next time, brothers, Godspeed, and remain blessed, Brother Cooked.